What up, dude bros? I'm Frank. This is a video review of the Nerf rival Hera in the Phantom Core line. The Phantom Core series is white in color instead of blue or red, so it's no longer that team thing. It's kind of like a rogue division or something. But the Hera itself is battery-powered, flywheel operated with magazines. It's very similar to the Zeus in a different, more efficient configuration, and compatible with the rival rechargeable battery pack, which is cool. So let's get into the review. Included is the blaster itself, a 12-round magazine, a few yellow rival rounds, team indicators which you can clip onto the back so you can indicate red or blue team, and the instructions. Now I'll go over the externals in a bit more detail, starting out with the front. Of course, it's a rival blaster, so it does not have an in-strike attachment point. Down below, it's kind of like a chunky piece of plastic, which looks like it could be doing something, but it doesn't. I think it kind of doubles as like a miniature handhold, but there's no rival rail under here. It doesn't open, it's just cool plastic. And moving up, there's a front iron sight that does not flip up or anything like other rival blasters, and there's no rear iron sight, so it's not really doing anything at all. But it makes it look cooler. So style points. Behind that is the rail system. This is a normal rival rail, except this also has an access door integrated into it. So if you have any jams or malfunctions, you can open this access door to get right into the flywheel unit. I've put about 1,000 rounds through this blaster so far and have not had any jams or malfunctions, but you know, access door is pretty standard stuff. And behind the rail is where you put your batteries. Just like other rival blasters, you unscrew the screw and pull off the cap, exposing the battery tray. The included tray holds 6 C-style batteries, not D-style batteries. I emphasize the type of the battery because the tray is actually the same size as the other like battery trays used in the Chaos and the Nemesis, the other battery powered other than the Zeus. So the orange part, or like the tray itself, is the same size, so these are compatible with each other. But being C-style batteries, it's a whole lot lighter than the D-style batteries. And the Hera is also compatible with the rechargeable battery pack, which I highly recommend. I talk about this in all the rival videos because it's awesome sauce. But the rechargeable is not included with the Hera. When you buy the Hera, you get this tray that holds the C-style batteries, and it takes 6. And in the back, there's a little sling mount, but there's nothing else going on back there. Now to the grip. This is probably the largest Nerf grip I've ever felt. It's extremely large in diameter and it's just fat. I'm a hair under 6'4" in height, and my hand size is like proportional to my large body, so I have crazy long fingers, and this grip is pretty big for even me. Sticking a rev trigger and some of the mechanics that are necessary for this propulsion system is pretty tricky when you have to shove a magazine up straight through the handle as well. Totally worth noting because it feels like weird and unusual because nothing else is this fat, but I'm not really complaining. But if you have normal sized or even hobbit sized hands, this might be a concern, but I don't, so I can't really say. Below the grip is the magazine. Well, loading in the magazine feels very much like an Apollo, except the magazine catch is like oriented differently. Taking out this magazine is really fluid because your offhand comes up and the magazine release is right where your thumb wants to go anyways, so pulling it out is super easy and also very important. And slipping it back in there is as expected. The release notch on the rival magazines is kind of prone to issues because if you bump that on your way into the rim, then you're going to shoot the balls out and they release, and you're either going to lose your capacity or jam the blaster by shooting loose balls up in there. You want to make sure to fully penetrate before anything goes off. Oh my gosh. On topic, on topic. The included magazine is a 12-round magazine that is identical to the Zeus magazine. They are compatible with the other ones. And the Apollo shorter magazine will also work. It's just obviously shorter, but it works just fine. Up to the triggers, the bottom one is the rev trigger. Works like any other flywheel blaster. The primary trigger, of course, lets you pew-pew, and the safety is under here. That's in kind of a new position, but you can very easily hit it with your middle finger there. And when you turn the safety on or blocking usage of the blaster, you can't pull the rev trigger or the primary trigger. And then you can turn it off and rev up and fire. So those are the externals of the Hera. Let's see it fire. Test firing with the rechargeable, the C-style, and the D-style batteries just to show the difference. The whole firing demo will be done with standard Nerf rival ammo, not third-party stuff, but I'm starting out with the included C-style alkaline tray with obviously C-style alkalines. And pew-pewing at my blaster board's target setup. Now I'm using D alkaline batteries. Ricochet. Now using the rechargeable battery pack. This is Nerf, it's not a third party, but it's not included with the blaster. It's a separate purchase. And now some extra tactical firing with some extra tactical mags. Totally feel like Neo when he walks into the building with the agents.
Would you please remove any metallic items you're carrying? Keys, loose change.
Holy flywheels indeed, Mr. Guardman. Let go. Oh, bonus points. Bonus points, especially with my last mag. Am I out? I'm out. Woo! Boom. Firing demo done. Dramatic spin move for the tactics. Firing the Hera is a lot of fun. One thing that's difficult to show on video is how the trigger actually feels. It's a semi-auto single fire blaster just like the rival Zeus, but the trigger of the Hera feels way more crisp and it just feels better in a way that's difficult to articulate. With the Zeus, what you were doing literally is just opening a gate and letting the magazine shove a ball through the flywheels. That's how the Zeus mechanically fires. You just open a gate and you just let balls fly through, which is what made it so easy to mod full auto. When you just open that gate completely, the magazine shoots all the balls out. But this blaster kind of hooks rounds into the flywheel, so it just feels very crisp. So definitely a positive experience firing the Hera. But I also use the different battery packs to illustrate the differences between them, which is primarily the rev up time. I tested the Hera on my chronograph with each of the 3 battery packs. With the C alkaline batteries, I got an average of 93 feet per second. With the D type alkaline batteries, I got an average of 98 feet per second. And with the Nerf brand rechargeable battery pack, I got an average of 100 feet per second. However, when I do my chronograph tests, I let the blaster get to its max RPM, so I don't fire pop, 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 pop. I let it rev to illustrate the maximum velocity and sort of to remove the human element. But if you could tell on the firing demo, the C-style alkalines just kind of lack the energy output to output a really quick follow-up shot, which is definitely a disadvantage. The D alkalines performed better and the rechargeable performed the best. I'm only harping on these differences because this is the first blaster with the C-style alkaline pack. And perhaps they did that to reduce the weight of the blaster because the D-style alkalines are heavy. They actually weighed all 3 battery packs like loaded up with their batteries. The C pack weighed about 560 grams, the D pack about 970 grams, and the rechargeable, being the lightest, was about 320 grams. Surprising because the blaster without a magazine or battery weighs just over 1 kilogram, so that's about what the D battery pack weighs. So overall opinion on the rival Hera. Overall, I really like it, especially when compared to the Zeus. I liked the Zeus when it initially came out, but I hated reloading that thing because that weird like quasi bullpup style magazine, you had the disadvantage of a stupid reload like a bullpup, but you don't have the advantage of it being an actual bullpup because longer barrels don't really equate to longer accuracy or range. Despite what you may have heard from my combos videos. Those are a joke. So you have the single shot, smaller package blaster compared to the Chaos or the Nemesis, accepting the lower profile rival magazines in a more practical package than the Zeus. So I'm pretty much comfortable calling this the successor to the Zeus, not an alternative to like the Chaos. Because the Chaos was fully automatic, it was so different than the Zeus, it's hard to say that's just the upgraded Zeus. This is pretty much what the Zeus should have been. Of course, if you dig the Zeus because of its appearance, that's a subjective opinion that can't be won or lost. It's not based in logic. But outside of the appearance, this is a more practical blaster. The trigger pull feels nicer, like mechanically. Magazine loading is much more traditional and easier. And most importantly, in my opinion, it's compatible with the rechargeable pack and all the other rival packs, which the Zeus, if you recall, is not, which is definitely a big pro for the Hera. Oh, totes forgot to cover these things. These are flags or little team indicators that you can like clip onto your blaster to indicate what team you're on. The example on the box is to link your color on the back of your blaster, where it is literally the least visible out of everywhere else on the blaster. Seems common sense. You put a headband on or the muzzle, because when you're shooting, 2 things have to be visible, my eyes and my muzzle, to shoot you, unless you're blind firing like a cheater. But it's the thought that counts, I suppose, if you really need your team segregation of red and blue. Takes me to the Phantom Core concept, the white blaster. I think the colors look cool, totally subjective opinion, but I was surprised by the cost. I paid $60 US for the Hera. This is also a Target exclusive, BT dubs, don't think I said that. But at the same Target, I saw a Phantom Core Apollo for $30 US right next to a normal Apollo for $20 US. So I think the Phantom Core line is coming at a premium cost, like a specialty thing. Unless that Apollo comes with the flags, and these are worth $5 each.
which is unlikely. And that $60 US is, I believe, the MSRP of the Hera, which is, I think, more expensive than the Zeus as well, which is kind of a surprise to me. That seems kind of expensive for this package. Heck, I think you can get a Chaos with the 40-round magazine for about that cost. But overall opinion of the Hera is definitely positive. It does what it's supposed to do. I didn't have any jams or malfunctions. The performance is what you should expect out of the rival blasters. The biggest pros to note, in my opinion, first, the rechargeable battery pack, being compatible with the other rival ones. So if you're into the rival flywheel blasters, you don't have to have different batteries for each of them. Being compatible with the existing stick mags seems like the obvious choice. The overall profile is based sort of on performance compared to the Zeus, which was just kind of weird. Really hated reloading that thing. The trigger press on the Hera is also really crisp, and I just dig it. So overall, definitely a positive opinion. Although it looks very similar to an Apollo, it's worth noting this is much bulkier and heavier than the Apollo. I know a lot of people will see that mainframe grip magazine and say, oh, it looks like a motorized Apollo. But I weighed the Hera without the battery pack or a magazine, and it's about 1 kilogram, compared to the rival Apollo, which came in at about 550 grams, nearly half the weight. And that's without whatever battery pack you add. So this is definitely a larger platform, just worth noting. I know sometimes it's tricky to see the scale and overall proportions of a blaster compared to other things on video. And until holographic YouTube is a thing and I can just reach out and show you the blaster and maybe hand it to you one day, maybe. With how quickly tech is advancing right now, I don't know, that might be a real thing in like a decade. Or I could just be like, hey bro, you wanna hold this? Then there'll be no reason to leave home whatsoever. If you can interact with the outside world without actually leaving, oh man. But hopefully I've provided everything you need to know about the Hera to make up that purchase decision for yourself. I'll leave a purchase link in the description box below. And again, this is a Target exclusive, so check there first, and Amazon when it's available there eventually. Hopefully my review was helpful. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, bros, stay tactical.